the streets of this Tigray region, silence now says more than words ever could. Coffee stalls still operate, children still walk past shattered buildings, but beneath the surface, fear is growing, slowly, steadily, like a storm forming over a land that has barely recovered from the last one. For many here, the phrase "never again" has already expired. 3 years after the 2022 peace agreement that ended one of Africa's deadliest conflicts, Tigray once again finds itself staring into uncertainty as tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea rise to dangerous levels. And the people of Tigray are asking a terrifying question. Are we about to relive the nightmare of the war that never really ended? To understand today's fear, we must go back to 2020. That year, war erupted between Ethiopia's federal government, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, which had once dominated Ethiopian politics for decades. The conflict quickly spiraled into a devastating regional war. Eritrea, Ethiopia's northern neighbor and former enemy, joined the fight against the TPLF. Over 2 brutal years, hundreds of thousands are believed to have died from violence, starvation, and lack of medical care. Hospitals were destroyed, schools were shut down, entire towns were emptied. Reports from organizations like Amnesty International and the United Nations documented mass killings, widespread sexual violence, and systematic looting. One of the darkest moments came in November 2020 in the ancient city of Aksum, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where many hundreds of civilians were reportedly massacred. For years, both Ethiopian and Eritrean authorities denied these atrocities. Only recently has Prime Minister Abiy acknowledged that mass killings occurred in Aksum, a rare admission that has reopened painful wounds. Life after the peace deal. In November 2022, a peace agreement was signed in Pretoria, South Africa. It was supposed to mark the beginning of recovery, but for many in Tigray, peace has felt incomplete. Eritrea was not a signatory to the agreement. Eritrean troops were accused of remaining in parts of northern Tigray, particularly along contested border areas like Shiraro and Gulamakada. Meanwhile, the region's economy has struggled to restart. More than 80% of health facilities were damaged or destroyed during the war. Hundreds of thousands of students remain out of school. Civil servants have gone unpaid for months due to funding disputes between Tigray's regional authorities and the federal government. Foreign investment has largely evaporated, and trauma lingers everywhere. In displacement camps around Mekelle, families still wait for missing relatives who are taken across borders, some into Eritrea, and never heard from again. A new flashpoint, the Red Sea. Now, a new crisis threatens to ignite old rivalries. In early 2026, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed addressed Ethiopia's parliament and made a bold statement. The Red Sea and Ethiopia cannot remain separated forever. Ethiopia has been landlocked since Eritrea gained independence in 1993, losing direct access to the port of Asab. For a nation of over 120 million people, access to the sea is seen as both an economic necessity and a matter of national pride. But Eritrea interpreted Abiy's comments as a threat, accusing Ethiopia of harboring ambitions to reclaim Asab by force. At the same time, Ethiopia has accused Eritrea of illegally occupying its territory and supporting armed groups inside the country. Both sides deny wrongdoing, but diplomatic language has grown sharper. Observers warn that the Horn of Africa, already fragile, could once again become a battlefield. Why Tigray is at the center? If war erupts between Ethiopia and Eritrea, Tigray would almost certainly be drawn into it. Geographically, it sits between the two. Politically, it remains deeply entangled in their rivalry. Some analysts believe a new conflict could resemble a civil war, with shifting alliances and possible attempts at regime change in Addis Ababa, Asmara or Mekelle. For Tigray's leadership, renewed hostilities could mean another existential fight. For civilians, it could mean displacement all over again. Young people are already voting with their feet. Visa applications have surged. Smugglers report increased inquiries. Many are preparing dangerous journeys through Sudan, Libya, and across the Mediterranean, routes that have claimed thousands of lives. One young woman in Mekelle put it bluntly, "I would rather take a chance than die a slow, certain death with little future prospects." That sentence captures the psychology of a generation that has known nothing but conflict, trauma without closure. In Aksum, in Humera, in border towns like Duan, entire families were erased. Many survivors still do not know the fate of loved ones. There has been little accountability, little justice, little compensation. And now, instead of rebuilding schools and hospitals, conversations once again revolve around troops, borders, and mobilization. The United Nations has warned that the situation remains highly volatile. Humanitarian agencies say another conflict would be catastrophic. Tigray is still recovering from famine-like conditions during the war, when aid deliveries were blocked and hunger spread across the region. A renewed war would not begin in stability, it would begin in fragility. The regional stakes. The Horn of Africa is a geopolitical crossroads. It borders the Red Sea, one of the world's most vital shipping lanes. Global powers maintain military bases nearby. Regional rivalries intersect here, from Sudan's instability to tensions in Somalia. If Ethiopia and Eritrea return to war, the conflict could draw in neighboring states and become a proxy struggle. The political map of the region could shift dramatically. But for ordinary Tigrayans, geopolitics feels distant. Their concerns are simpler. Will food reach the markets? Will their children stay in school? Will soldiers return to their streets? A generation on edge. In Mekelle today, cafes that once buzzed with university students are quieter. Young people speak less about careers, more about escape. An entire generation that once dreamed of becoming engineers, doctors, entrepreneurs, now debates migration routes. Peace without security feels temporary. Recovery without justice feels fragile. And hope, after repeated betrayal, becomes harder to sustain. The question that remains, is renewed war inevitable? Diplomacy still exists. Dialogue is still possible. History, however, shows that miscalculation in this region can be deadly. For Tigray, another war would not simply be a geopolitical event. It would reopen graves. It would deepen trauma. It would push more families into exile. And it would confirm the fear that peace here is never permanent, only paused. As tensions rise between Addis Ababa and Asmara, the people of Tigray wait, not for victory, not for revenge, but for certainty, for stability, for a future where children grow up without learning the sound of artillery before they learn the alphabet. Whether that future arrives or slips away again may depend on decisions being made right now in distant government halls. But in Mekelle, under the shade of quiet trees and beside unfinished buildings, the feeling is unmistakable. The past is not past, and the next chapter may already be approaching.